everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Black Art and Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Terry. This is a podcast that we do to uplift the voices and the stories and the narratives of creatives of color from across the United States. And today I'm excited to have an amazing guest, Tammi Bodella.
Bedolla. Sorry.
All right, good. And she has a lot happening, going on, and she's based out of Chicago, and she's going to tell you about an upcoming event that's associated with the Expo Chicago and more. So, Tammi, welcome.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you. Appreciate being here. This is a pleasure. So.
Absolutely. Pleasure to have you. I'm excited to learn more about this event that's coming up, and also learn more about who Tammi is and your influence and your participation in the art. So why don't you give us a little bit of your backstory?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. So my name is Tammi Bedolla, and along with my husband, Oscar Bedolla, we have started an art accelerator, a fine art accelerator. It's a nonprofit. It's called FLOURISH. And so basically, I'll kind of go into my background a little bit. I am, at an early age, love the culture, just culture. I grew up in Richmond, Virginia. So for many people, they may know that as the South, depending on where you are in the country, right? It's the South. From a cultural standpoint, not a lot of diversity. I grew up in the 80s and 90s, right? So, culturally speaking, I was always listening to music and we're like, can they shout out Virginia? Can they shout out Richmond? No. But luckily, my mom, she grew up in Brooklyn. So we went a lot of times, back and forth, just traveling to see family and friends. So going in there in Brooklyn and any parts of New York and the boroughs and the 80s and the 90s, I got a taste of this rich culture of, Black, brown, Puerto Rican, all Latinos, Caribbean Americans, just everything. So I would come back home and be like, wow, there's a different world out here, right? But not knowing it then, but as I became an adult and just, being immersed in just different areas. I lived all over in the country, but having that experience, I realized that's richness. That's so powerful. You can't buy that, right? So I was just so, and it's just recently that I realized that exposure for me became just kind of that thing that lens is oh, I want my kids to experience that. I want my kids to have that, right? And so I think when I look at art, so then it became I met Oscar. His mom has an art gallery, amazing, Gallery Matisse, 20 plus years in the industry, blue chip. She represents, these top artists, mostly African-American artists. And seeing that, and then having that perspective of when I look at art, this is a visual representation. It stands still, it's there, but it represents these cultures, right? It tells a story. And by doing that, I was this is how I feel. This is how, it's something that I can resonate with, but also my kids, right? When you walk around and you see something that is representation of yourself, wow, how powerful is that? And so it just goes back to the feeling that I would feel growing up, not knowing that I was experiencing these things, but these were people that I didn't know, but people that I walk down the street and I'm oh my God, looking at, they're selling cassettes, because cassettes was, it was I'm hearing this music, I'm smelling this food, but it's that feeling. You don't know how to articulate that at the age of 9, 10, 11 and up, but now I do. And so if that resonated with me then, I know it's resonating with my kids, right? So I guess it's, that intersection of the exposure to different cultures And visual arts brings that exposure from these cultures to our homes, to our museums, to our streets, to our wherever, right? And art can be found wherever. And I just feel like it's the communication, it's the stories, but we need more, right? We need more intersections of the culture, the Black and brown culture, to be represented, not just in our within our circles. We need that to be elevated. Like, the Black and brown artists are powerful. They're telling a story, and it's preserving that, right, for the next generation. So
I think what you're touching on is the African diaspora, and I think people may overlook the fact that the African diaspora is all of melanated people, from the Caribbean to Jamaican, like you said, the Puerto Rican, the Dominican Republic, and so I think that's this event that's coming up really speaks and kind of calls that out, which is very, very unique. So it sounds as though your upbringing and how you were able to travel to New York, which is they say it's a melting pot. I don't really like using the word melting pot because it's really you kind of like to me, my opinion, when you use the word melting pot, you're kind of excluding everyone's contributions, right? So it's just one big thing. That's what we celebrate. It is that diversity. It is the what everyone brings differently. So speak a little bit about this intersection of different cultures within the African diaspora, and why this is unique and different than other events.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're in Chicago, and I agree with you. Like, melting pot it's been blended, right? But cultures are not necessarily blended. They siloed in their own right to represent the indigenous or ancestral, traditions and cultures and things, right? And so we don't want to take that away. We want to elevate that. And so, like a stew, right? You put all this in a stew. You can take some potatoes out. You can take, but it's a blend. Not even a blend, but it's everything together, coexisting to make this beautiful, whatever it may be, right? So what we're doing, what Flourish is doing, is we're an art accelerator, and we essentially want to represent, or not represent, but take the BIPOC artists, so that's Black, Indigenous, people of color artists, and put them in a platform that has not only from a capital standpoint, so raising money, but also professional services. So we know that being in, and I'll just back up. So basically what we want to do is, we know that as an artist or a creative, that these creatives should function as a business, right? As an entrepreneur. And so being able to do that, what does that take? It takes money, but it also takes professional services. And so whether that's someone who's helping to, look at individuals as, hey, your brand, getting them to that point, the marketing, the communication, helping with contract writing, whatever that is. But also, in addition to that, it's connection. And so connecting the creatives with the business community, connecting them with the cultural institutions, connecting them with additional communities, right? To elevate them and to take them to that next level. So that's what Flourish essentially will be doing and is trying to do as an accelerator.
Got it. So what you're speaking on is basically the arts ecosystem, and really educating artists and the general public about how art impacts not only just visual artists, but every aspect of society that we are involved in, from business to entrepreneurialism to museums to, I mean, you name it. So what I'm going to do right now is we're going to jump to the website. So give everyone an opportunity to take a look at the website. And give me 1 second here as we do.
Yep.
And I think we are here right now.
Yeah.
So why don't you walk us through it if you don't mind? So we're on the landing page, and the website itself is
FLOURISHArtAccelerator.com.
right. FLOURISHAccelerator.com. All right, folks, you've heard that. So speak on really quick. So accelerator. Okay, the word accelerator. How does that connect with this event?
Yeah, so Accelerate is basically, we're taking the tech model of being in a kind of like an incubator where it's taking, again, artists and curators and putting them into this program that's going to, for lack of a better word, accelerate them to the next career, to the next path that they have. The event, Flourish, is taking place. We're so excited. We did this intentionally the week of Expo. So Expo Chicago, for anyone who's not familiar with it, is a art fair that comes to Chicago once a year in April. It brings people from all over the world, whether they're, curators or artists, exhibitors. I think there's like 170 exhibitors that are going to be at Art Expo Expo Chicago this year. And so intentionally, we want basically to introduce, the world to Chicago, right? You got people from every walks of life in Chicago at one time, and these artists, and in the room, we are basically making those connections. So we're going to have it's at 21C Museum Hotel, which is a great hotel that actually they have gallery space. So it's really cool. It's on Saturday, April 13th from 6 to 9. And everybody that we have in our network and our resources that we've invited, and we are almost selling out. So we're excited about it. It is our inaugural event. It's a fundraising event. To do this work, it takes a community, right? It takes the support of everyone that's involved. So we thank our family and our friends and those that we've met along the way, as yourself, Scott, to really, help and support us, whether it's financial or just putting us on a platform, right? To be able to speak about this. We feel like the differences that we're making, this is one, it's something that's for all cultures. And then two, like, how many, a lot of times I don't think that the artist thinks of themselves as an entrepreneur, right? Or even a career. I've heard a lot of artists that have said, I didn't really get into this because my parents, my family didn't think that this was something I should be doing. They didn't go that route because it wasn't the traditional route, right? And so later on, they got into it. I think it's changing, but we want to be the support that provides these things. And so what you see right here, these are our advisors. And so, as I mentioned before, these are the people who are, whether they're in the art ecosystem or they're from a business perspective, but these are the people who will engage with the artists and curators that will go through our accelerator program and provide, whether it's strategic thinking, contracts, licensing, additional partnerships. We've partnered with the DeSable Museum, Black History Museum. We've partnered with the Puerto Rican Museum here in Chicago and the Mexican Fine Art Museum. And so you see like that synergy of these. Yeah.
And from the DeSable. Yeah, I mean I think that's a beautiful narrative, and that's a beautiful story and an awesome connection as well. Let's scroll up to the details here. So folks, when you get to the website and you click on event details, it'll take you here to this particular page, and you can see the location, 21C Hotel. Tammi, just really briefly, so why the 21C? Why is there some sort of significance with 21C?
21C, so their story is really interesting. The previous owners had a good problem. They had a ton of art in their storage, and they created this hotel, but wanted it to be a place to showcase art. So you go in and there are the hotel rooms, but there's also a gallery space. And so, but it's open to the public at any time. And we thought, one, this is close to where Expo is happening, but it's also a place that naturally promotes and inspires and, is able to showcase art. So they have a permanent collection that they keep up, but they also have rotating exhibits that come in and out. So, yeah.
Got it. Cool. So then, excuse me, really beautiful website too, by the way. So,
thank you.
So when folks, I just scroll back down. So this is how you purchase the tickets, everybody. You click purchase tickets, and it takes you to the Eventbrite page, and there you have it. So there will be all of the information on that particular page. So let's go.
Yeah.
I'm going to let's get off of the website and let's get.
And I'll mention real quick,
sure.
if you don't mind, Scott. So if you go to the website, you can go it that way, but you can also go into Eventbrite and just type in Flourish, and it'll pop right up also.
Right. So
yeah.
So here it is, and it's we're on it. So we're gonna test that theory, Tammi.
All right, let's test it. And during the event, so we have small business activations that'll happen the first 45 minutes of the event, where there will be just a few small businesses that we have here in Chicago doing like liquor, cocktail tasting, and then we'll also have our panel discussion. It's going to be like a fun kind of upbeat panel discussion with our featured artists. And our artists are all based here in Chicago, with the exception of one who is an artist that's showcasing at Expo. And so those artists are Max Sansing, Nico Washington, Ronald Jackson, and Sean Michael Warren. And so all of these artists are within their own right, obviously, very successful, and we're super excited to have them speak about kind of the future of art, why Flourish is going to be and is needed in the community. So excited about that.
This is going to be pretty amazing. So I'm excited for this, because this is the first one. Hopefully, the first of many to come.
Yeah, we hope it's first of many to come. It will be first of many to come. Again, like, this is a fundraiser, and so we are, looking for continual support to make sure that we are able to have a robust accelerator program going forward. So we're already, planning 2024 and thinking about 2025. But yeah, Flourish, the event itself but not only is it a fundraiser, it's also a way to connect. So the importance of the connection in the art ecosystem, we saw a gap where we wanted a connection where the artists could connect with the director of the cultural institution that they're interested in. The emerging artists can connect with potential mentor, or collectors can see and hear from artists themselves, be in the room. And we kind of look through some of the people that have already bought their tickets, and it's really going to be a nice, diverse crowd of people that support the arts, are in it, they live it, they breathe it, and ones that want to know more, right? So it's for everyone. It's for everyone. It'd be great.
I'm gonna pull up. So you mentioned one of the artists. What's one of my favorite artists? Max Sing.
Yes. Yep.
To one of his. I mean, you have a lot of amazing artists, so it's hard to just select one. But
Oh no, yeah, right.
just for
Yeah.
illustrative purposes, we're gonna put up Max Sing's some work from him, and give me 1 second here as we.
Oh, and I'm sorry, and Brendan Fernandez. Forgot to mention Brendan. Is another artist that will be there too. So.
Fernandez. All right.
Yeah.
All right, everyone.
Yeah, this is Max. Oh, amazing.
There is. Yep, this is Max Sensing, everyone. For those of you who are not familiar, he is definitely known for his mural work all over the country. But he's also this is some examples of his work, and just beautiful. I mean, just stunning.
His colors are amazing. He told the story of the key. So you see the key in his most of his work. Like I don't know, I can't see it in this one, but I think he tells the story of we were like, so what's the symbolism between the key? And his story is so amazing. And I probably won't even do it justice, but basically, like, his dad was worked for CTA, and he had these keys that basically, there's one that unlocked. He was like, he would go down into like the train station, and it would unlock. He was like, it would unlock every door. And being like, as a kid, he was like, the key, basically his dad held the key to the city, right? He would go one and go to the other and other. And I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. I'm not doing his story any justice, but hearing that was so powerful, right? Again, like,
there's one other over here. No,
yep.
There's a theme, the thematic element going on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So Max Sensing will be there for everyone that is familiar with him, and then not familiar. You'll have opportunity to become familiar with.
That's
Max
right.
Sensing and many other amazing artists as well.
Yeah. So we won't be showing artwork, but we'll definitely be talking about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right.
Yeah.
So we'll get back to us. So also too, I want to speak a little bit about Tammi. This name of Lowell and Lennox. Do you mind expanding on that? Is that the name of the overarching business?
Yeah. So we started. Oscar and I started Lowell and Lennox. So Lowell is the middle name of my first son, my oldest, and which also is the middle name of Oscar. So my oldest son is namesake Oscar Bedolla, Oscar Lowell Bedolla. And then my second, Caleb, his middle name is Lennox. And so going back to our reason or our why is it started as like, what do we want our kids to see years from now? What do we want? How do we want them to feel about who they are and their culture and what's represented for them, right? So we started, we take them to Basel, we take them to Miami, to these non-traditional spaces sometimes that kids aren't found, but my 7-year-old loves it now. It's the expectation that he's going with us. So I don't know how crazy that is, but yeah, like introducing them to these experiences and having that exposure, what it will do for them, we don't know, right? But we know we want them to have that exposure, and doing that is twofold. It's giving them the exposure, but also giving people who want to create and continue their stories, giving them that too.
Indeed. And I think what you're doing too as a byproduct is you're not only exposing them at a young age, but you're building these, lifelong learners around the arts, and how important it is to have them understand how important it is to not only themselves but the society and the world that they live in. So kudos to you for exposing your little ones to the vast sea that is the arts. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Yep.
So tell me about, you've had a very rich upbringing, in terms of the diverse communities that you've been around and been involved in. How does that connect with the city of Chicago, comparison
Yeah.
between Chicago and Brooklyn and Richmond, Virginia? What do you see some of the differences and also the similarities?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely see both, right? The similarities. If I go back to Richmond and connect it to Chicago, it's, the siloed kind of the segregation of the communities, right? And segregation, not in a bad way, right? But it is very segregated in Chicago from a cultural standpoint. I think there's 77 neighborhoods. People are in their neighborhoods and they are very adamant and take care of their culture within their communities, right? So whether it's Puerto Rican, Mexican, Black, and you can go on and on, right? So people have that, but then also there's the intersections that do cross, and that's where I see. So I haven't lived in Richmond in a long time, and I love my city. But it was, at times where you just don't have that connection of these different cultures, right? Or to support the elevation. And I think in Chicago, oh my gosh, like it's so rich here. It's crazy how people have, one, from an art perspective, right? We can go on and on about the number of artists that have come into Chicago or that are born and raised here in Chicago that come out, right? So I think it's giving a lens to Chicago and putting Chicago on this platform, like all of these rich cultures that are here, and showing that to the world. I love being able to go into various, like we were in Humboldt Park recently and had this tour, not planned, but tour on the whole like Puerto Rican community. And I was like blown away. I'm like, this is amazing, the history of all of that. So I feel like, yeah, the connection here is so deep, and not being from here, right? I just feel like I want to learn more. I want people to tell me more, and we're taking that all in. So we love it. Yeah.
So you're all in. There's so much to take in, right?
So much to take in, for sure. Yeah.
So speak a little bit about, we're running, we're about a few minutes left. So I want to give you an opportunity to mention who has supported the Flourish event in terms of sponsors. You mention them right now?
Yeah, for sure. So Gallagher Insurance, Molson Coors, Empress Gin, Charles Woodson, Gallery Mertice, Uncle Nearest, Ositos Tap, Self-Help Credit Union, Pigment International is our media sponsor, individual family and friends who have provided monetary donations and sponsorship, and our network. We appreciate. I'll shout out also the support of the art community overall has been amazing. Oscar and I really, got this going, and we've just obviously seen the need for it, and people have supported us, which has been amazing. And so to continue that support, we want everybody to go again to the website. You can donate through the website. First link that pops up, the donate button. If you can't attend the event, but if you can attend the event, please purchase a ticket for someone else that may want to be there, so tickets are going fast, but we want this to be a community cultural experience, right? So any and everyone that can support, we're happy to have that, and we accept that. So we're thankful for that.
All right.
And you, Scott, thank you for giving us this platform to Yeah.
For being on, and that is our time. So everyone, April 13th, be in Chicago. Don't meet me there, beat me there. All right, April 13th.
Yes. Oh, one more thing. Sorry. So when you purchase a ticket, so first 100 ticket holders will get, we're almost there, we'll get a ticket to the other art fair, which is another art fair that's going on during Expo as well. So it's going to be a whole week of art, right?
whole thing. So right,
Yeah.
and it's for those of you who have not been to Expo Chicago, it's just an amazing experience, and the whole city of Chicago gets activated. And this is one of the events that you can attend, and we hope to see you there again, April 13th. 6 p.m. to 9 at 21C Museum in Chicago. And you're going to meet Tammi and her husband, Oscar. Shout out to Oscar as well. I know he's holding down the kids right now, so shout out to Oscar. All right. And we will see you there on the 13th. And I think that is all. You have one last thing you want to say, Tammi?
No, thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me again on Black Art and Culture Podcast. This new episode, and we will see you in Chicago on April 13th at 6 p.m. 21C.
Thank you.
See you.